With the 2022 NFL draft now in the books, the Philadelphia Eagles move on to a territory which is very familiar. It seems like every year the Philadelphia Eagles and its fan base find one undrafted free agent to latch on. Well, today I'm going to give you three. These are the three undrafted free agents I think will end up making the team. So let's get into it.
You want Philly?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
What's going on, you guys? It's your boy Joe Castro, aka Philly Fresco, and it is Philly the podcast. So today I want to talk about these undrafted free agents, man, and I want to go over three in particular who I think have a very good chance of making this roster. Now, I think that the Eagles did very well in the draft and in undrafted free agency. We got some really good players. Obviously, we weren't able to really tackle the secondary, concerns in the draft, but they were able to tackle them in the undrafted free agency. This is 1 year that I really truly feel like there's a lot of guys in this talent pool of the undrafted guys that are very good. You're going to see some guys really make a name for themselves as undrafted free agents. So this year I think is even more important and even more imperative that we hit on a couple of these guys. Now, before we get into this, be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe, join the family. I just bought this mic, so I need you guys to subscribe so I can, pay it off, because my girl's gonna beat my butt. But let's just hop right into this. So we're gonna hop into the first one. The first guy is gonna be Josh Jobe. Josh Jobe is a guy that I've talked about a lot on this channel. I've talked about it on the Best Enemies podcast with Big Game James. I actually talked him into drafting him in one of his mock drafts. Josh Jobe is a guy that has all the talent in the world. I feel like he has all the the measurables. He's got the size, he's got the speed, he looks like an absolute freak of nature when you look at his arms. Biceps are like 25. It's crazy. It's crazy. He's strong as heck. But he did not perform to that. He did not perform that well. Obviously, going to Alabama, playing in the SEC, you're going to go against some very, very good wide receivers. I just felt like last year was not a good year for him. But I think that he can make this team. Look, in 2020, he started all 13 games. He obviously led them to the national championships with 11 pass breakups. Nothing crazy, but he also had 55 tackles, 2.5 of those for a loss, 2 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. So he's a cornerback that does not mind getting dirty. He's a cornerback that does not mind getting into the backfield. The Philadelphia Eagles have been a team that likes to ask their cornerbacks and their safeties to get up on that line of scrimmage. He's somebody that has shown the propensity and the willingness to do so. So I'm very excited about that. Now, last year, like I said, he didn't have the greatest year. He was playing through turf toe. Take it for what it is. The year prior to that, 2019, wasn't an amazing year by any stretch of the imagination, but he was way better than he was last year. So maybe the injury had an effect on it. He ended off 2019 strong, right? If you look at 2019 and 2020 and try and base this undrafted free agency pickup off of that, it seems like a high-end, high upside type of guy. I think he had the game-winning interception in the Citrus Bowl in 2019. So he's definitely played in some big games, had some big moments. I think the Philadelphia Eagles are getting a guy that can possibly develop into your cornerback too, into an outside guy. Like I said, at 6'1", about 200 pounds. He has the size. So it's all about Josh Jobe right now. It's all about his mentality. If he's willing to go ahead and get better, if he's willing to go ahead and work and work on his craft, get that technique a little bit better, stop taking so many unnecessary risks, I think he can be somebody in this league. Now, I don't think he'll be, I don't want to say I don't think he'll be, but he might not be Darius Slay. He might not be, Stephen Gilmore. He might not be a Richard Sherman, but I think he'll be a Josh Jobe, and I think that will be good enough for the Philadelphia Eagles. So the first guy I got is Josh Jobe. Now, the next guy I want to talk about is a quarterback, y'all. We took 2 of them. We took 2 of them in the undrafted free agency. We took obviously who I'm talking about now, Carson Strong, but we also took E.J. Perry. E.J. Perry I'm going to talk about before I get to Carson Strong, because obviously I got Carson making the team. E.J. Perry's very, very similar to Jalen Hurts. I was very surprised that they picked him up and a Carson Strong. Kind of tells me they don't 100% know which direction they want to go with at the quarterback. I've said before that I felt like they wanted to be a high-end passing team. E.J. Perry pickup seems to me like you don't mind whatever you may become. You're just looking for talent, which is not a bad thing. But Carson Strong, look, Carson Strong is a good player. He's a very good player, very, very talented guy. He's not the most athletic, but his arm is ridiculous. I mean, he's got a very strong arm, and he's also able to put a lot of touch on it. You know, if you watch a lot of his tape, he's a guy that is I don't even know how to really explain how hard he throws it into some of these windows, but that can bite you in the butt in the NFL. You know, these cornerbacks are now a lot faster, a lot bigger. You're not going to have the windows that you had in college, and even in college, it felt like he was a little bit late on a lot of throws. Look, the mechanics are there. The body type is there. I believe he's 6'4". You know, the arm strength is there. The all that is there. The biggest thing with him is, will he be able to play a full season? This kid has had multiple knee surgeries on the same knee. And you know, look, I'm not one to sit here and say just because you have injuries, you're injury prone, but this guy looks like he might be, you know, look, in college, in high school, excuse me, you go all the way back to his senior year, he had biodegradable nails put in his knee just to attach it to his leg. I mean, that's not something that's crazy. You know, that's normal. That's not normal. So that's something you have to look at. Obviously, he was able to play 3 years in college, had more surgeries in college. So this is a high upside kind of guy. If he can stay healthy, you get a good player. You know, I think that I've seen some of his comparisons. Some people are comparing him to Drew Brees and guys like that, and I kind of understand why, mainly because of his accuracy and his ability to kind of change velocity. But I would say a Nick Foles, this guy gives me Nick Foles vibes, right? You know, and I'm not saying all the good and not the bad. It's kind of the good and the bad. I feel like he's a gunslinger. He likes to throw the ball down the field. Unfortunately, just cannot stay healthy, and he's not a high-end athlete. He can move around. Nick Foles wasn't a high-end athlete. Nick Foles moved around a little bit in the pocket. He was aware and knew what he was doing, but he wanted to sling that thing down the field, and I think that's what you're getting out of a Carson Strong. Now, Carson Strong, will he push Jalen Hurts? Maybe not. Will he push Minshew? Maybe not, but I think that he's a very, very strong candidate to be that number 3 quarterback. I said this in my group chat with all my Eagles friends. You know, I look at a Carson Strong like I looked at a Kevin Cobb back in the day. I think that this is a guy we're going to develop, and we're going to try and off him and make somebody waste a second or third round pick on him, thinking he can be a starting quarterback. I love what the kid can do. It's just the injuries really that makes me very concerned with him, but I do think that he will make this roster just simply off. We need a guy that we could develop. I don't think Gardner Minshew's a development guy anymore. I think he's more so a guy that you feel comfortable as your backup, or maybe even a starter if you give up on Jalen Hurts. I don't think that's going to happen, but it could happen. So Carson Strong, welcome to Philadelphia. Now the third and final guy I want to talk about is Kennedy Brooks. I was wrecking myself because I wanted to go with Mario Goodrich. Obviously, he is the highest paid undrafted free agent in NFL history. NFL history. Does he make the team? He might. He very well can make the team. I don't want to follow the money trail, because if you follow the money trail, we've also given Paul Turner a bunch of money, right? I think his name was Paul Turner, a bunch of money. We gave him like $1 million to be on our practice squad. I don't think that necessarily means anything. I think it just meant that he probably had a lot of people that wanted him on their team, and we had to give him a couple extra dollars to make it happen. But I don't necessarily think just because he got paid out the wazoo, he's going to be a definite Philadelphia Eagle. But I will say he is a very good player. Has nothing to do with Kennedy Brooks. I picked Kennedy Brooks over Mario Goodrich. Look, Kennedy Brooks he reminds me so much of what we have in a Jordan Howard. I don't think he's as powerful as a Jordan Howard, but I don't think Jordan Howard is as explosive as a Kennedy Brooks, so it works both ways. Now, I don't think Kennedy Brooks isn't the fastest player in the world. I think he ran around a 4.59. He's not the strongest, not the biggest guy in the world. I think he's around 5'11". But he is a good combination of everything. He's a very smooth runner. He's a very good tempo guy. Like, he's one of those guys that he's gonna, a volume runner, I think, is the best way I can say it. You give him enough carries, he's going to be able to go out there, wear down defenses, wear down defensive lines, and get some good yards. He averaged 6.3 yards last year per carry. That's not something to scoff at, right? Obviously, playing in Oklahoma, he had very good competition. He opted out in 2020, so if that means anything to you, then that means anything to you. But like I said, 2021 came back with a vengeance. He only had 7 starts. He had, again, 198 carries, and he had 142 yards in the Alamo Bowl, 3 touchdowns in that game, and that was all off of 14 carries. So the kid has explosive, tendencies. He can definitely make some plays. He can definitely make some things happen. Pass protection's a question, but I think that it's a question of all these guys. Now, one thing I will say, I don't know anything about this outside of what I read. So take this as you take it, but I felt that it was important to bring this up. In 2019, he was accused by one of his co-students of mental and physical abuse. He was held out of football activities. They later on cleared him. There was a whole bunch of stuff talking about that he was protected because he played football. Look, I don't know. I don't know if it's true, if it's not true, but this is something you have to look at, especially when you look at what's going on in the NFL and the drama and the issues that we're having with this. So you, as a Philadelphia Eagle fan and as a Philadelphia Eagles franchise, I hope that they looked into this, and I hope that they were able to clear him through their own research. But I felt that that was something that we had to know. I think that as fans, we should know that. We don't want to get blindsided by something like that in a year or two or in a week or two if he starts blowing up in camp. But so those are the 3 guys I got right now. Those are my 3 guys. I got Kennedy Brooks. I got Josh Jobe, and I got Carson Strong as the 3 guys I think will make this Philadelphia Eagles roster. I need to know what you guys think. Who do you guys think the Eagles will go ahead and most likely keep on this 50-man roster, 53-man roster, or 52-man? They change it every year at this point. Let me know in the comments, but other than that, y'all know what it is, man. It is Fly Eagles Fly, and we are out here, and I have a new mic, so I don't know if I should yell, or maybe I should just yell. I'll push it back. How about that?
Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
Fly Eagles flying on the team. Touchdown. Time to get Jalen this ring. You don't really want to start a thing. This a Bird Gang Nation, baby. It's a Philly thing. Hater, and you looking like you type trash. I'm just here calling on Philly the podcast. And we can call a man dog or watch Miles score off the handoff. Rest of the division, your man Saul Jackson like Sean, hunting like Randall. Season here, early time to do 'em in. Your boy Philly Fresco. Thanks for tuning in.